This is the Illinois Prairie District Public Library. I'm Joel, the director here. And last month we did an interview with author Kate Kleiss, which went super well. So today we decided to do an interview with Christina Uss, who, it's pronounced Us, right? USS
Yep,
Us?
you got it right.
Perfect. So, so author of The Adventures of a Girl Called Bicycle. Some of you may remember we had her at our libraries 2 years ago, something like that, in 2018. And she's going to come back, but obviously, due to quarantine, we are not doing in-person anything right now. And so if you're watching and you're a patron, we have opened up for some limited curbside service, so feel free to call us. We have Christina's book on our shelves, and obviously 100,000 other books, so get what you want. But we are doing curbside service right now in a limited fashion. So welcome, Christina. Thank you for talking to us today. I wanted to start, maybe I know we're on your second book and it's just coming out right now, but can you tell us a little bit about Bicycle first, for those that may remember you? Just remind them about that book, which I love.
Sure. And in fact, let me grab it from the shelf.
Please do.
So, yep, this one's my first one, and that's how Joel and I met, was bonding over this book, The Adventures of a Girl Called Bicycle. So this one is a story of a 12-year-old girl who decides she's going to ride her bike across the United States. I mean, how hard could it be? And she's on the search for her first true friend. And yeah, I had a lot of fun writing this book, and I was really lucky that Holiday House, who published it, they enjoyed it so much, they're like, we want to work with you on another weird, strange story. So that's how I got to the point of having another one come out.
And so you know, since you mentioned riding across the country, which Bicycle does in the book, and she comes through Illinois, I remember that. You have ridden across the country twice, right?
I have, yes, and that was part of the inspiration for the story. I didn't do it when I was 12. I did it when I was 22, and kept my journal of the experience, which I was not prepared for. It was really, really an adventure that changed my life. And I didn't think I was going to write a book about something like that. It was really like much later that I was at a library with my husband, and I'm checking out all these books that are for 10-year-olds, because that's what I really like to read. And he's like, you with these children's books, someday you're going to write a children's book. And at that time, I was writing for newspapers and magazines about travel and about adventure and bicycling. And he's like, oh, you're going to write one. And the title's going to be The Adventures of a Girl Called Bicycle. Oh, wow. And that was like, I grabbed him and going, oh, like that title, a book needs to match that title. Like, why is she called Bicycle? What are her adventures? And I said to him, like, she bikes across the country. Oh my gosh, I got to go write this book. And like, that was it. I was like, we got to go home right now, and just started typing.
I love that. That's so cool that he came up with the title just like that. That's really neat. And
yeah, was waiting in the air.
Yeah, that's so fun. And this is Bike Month, right? May?
Yes, it's good. Okay. You know that May is National Bike Month. So it's one of those ways you guys can get outside and get a little of that fresh air and sunshine and still be socially distant, because it's hard to get close to people on a bike.
Yeah.
So yes, if you can get out on two wheels, it's a good month to do it.
Yeah, so it's the perfect month to be having this interview. But on another subject, your second book just came out, Colossus of Rhodes. Do you want to briefly tell us about this lovely book?
I would love to. So this one is the story of a boy and his talking stomach who decide they're going to take on all the worst traffic jams that happen in their city to save the family business, to prove that the boy has a talent that matters, and protect the good things in life. So what it has in common with The Adventures of a Girl Called Bicycle, everyone's like, ooh, are there bicyclists in it? And I'm like, there are, but they're kind of on the side of evil, which is different. But it's another like quirky, unexpected story with these very odd characters, and you like never quite know what turns the story is going to take, which I think I'm beginning to realize, like, this is my genre.
It really is, and it is one of the best parts about both of those books is they're so unique. I don't know anything else like them, and they're not related at all, but they have some distinct similarities in the way that their characters are quirky. Would you call them both introverts, and maybe, I don't know, talented in different ways too. The art
I,
is a big part of the second book.
right? I think all my characters in general, and I think this is like comes from a deep place in me, are looking for a place to belong just the way they are. Like they have some innate talent or drive or goal that that's just like they feel like this is them, and they want to be able to express it and not have people either judge them or try to stop them or force them to fit into something that they don't fit into. And even my third book is that same kind of theme. I'm like, oh, I think I'm working
Yeah,
out some psychological stuff here in my books. Like I just want to find a place to belong just the way I am.
that's
So
so
yeah, I think
fun.
like,
Can you
my
tell us a
characters
little
are really
bit? So you're the Colossus of Rhodes came out what, like last week or something, right?
yeah, so its original publication date was the 5th of May, Cinco de Mayo, but the publisher actually got it out earlier than that, a couple of weeks earlier,
Okay.
because there are concerns now about when you publish it, will there be like will the warehouse even be able to like receive it and ship it? Will people be working? So they decided to get it out
And
early.
to that end, we still don't have a copy of the Colossus of Rhodes on our shelves because we haven't gotten it yet. Of course,
Mm,
I've ordered it, but yeah.
thank
So
you.
I think there are delays. So can you talk about that a little bit? What they've done, what you've done to promote this book? So obviously, we usually do big, flashy in-person visits and get to do all
Right.
kinds of fun things when books come out. So how has your book launch been?
It's been very strange. Yeah, publishing in the pandemic, I think, is a whole other thing. And I think it's stranger for me in that I am one of those low tech people. Like, I would much rather take myself, like, go to the airport, get on a plane, fly to somewhere and present than figure out how to, like, arrange my background and do my YouTube video. Although I'm getting better, like, I've got the bookcase there. I think that's a good background. But I was saying before we started the interview, I was going to do a book tour in person. I had bookstore visits lined up, school visits lined up. I was going to go do nerd camp.
Oh, fun. What's
In
Nerd Camp?
Oh, have you not heard of
I
nerd
have no
camp? Oh,
idea.
everybody should know about this. So there, have you heard of the Nerdy Book Club?
Yes.
Which is so
Our
that's an
patrons, our patrons may not know, so that is something that they could participate in, correct?
Yes, the Nerdy Book Club is just a gathering of people who love kids' books, and they have a an online blog, and they do actual like in person these nerd camps. They're all over the country, and once a year. It started in Michigan, I think, and now they've got them in New Jersey. I was going to go to, and Southern California, and it's a free gathering. They call it the Unconference, where they're just
Okay.
people who love books. So they get authors, particularly middle grade, which is what I
Mhm.
write, that 8 to 12, and teachers, and everybody's just invited to come and talk books and talk about like what are the new trends and how are we reaching readers,
Yeah.
and um, it's really cool. So yes, if anybody's interested in just, especially if there are teachers out there, I think this is a really good way for you to stay connected to your nerdy community who also loves books. You can just get on their website, nerdybookclub.com, find out about the conferences and sign up for the newsletter and the blogs. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
probably,
I've been watching so many online like book launches and book clubs and things like that, and some of them are super fancy and they put banners that say what we're talking about. So I was thinking maybe I should put nerdybookclub.com, but I don't know how. So we'll just
you know,
post it on the Facebook for everybody to get access.
yeah,
We,
exactly.
we are both, I think both you and I share the low tech thing. Like I know how to do Zoom. This is what we're using, but
Look
that's
at us,
about,
look at us.
we're
Yeah,
doing
this is,
great.
we should feel very proud.
So
So I, I honestly, when everything started when schools closed, and of course, I am a person who tends towards anxiety, so
mhm.
I was really anxious, and I was thinking like, I kind of don't want to do anything for my book. Like it seems almost inappropriate to be saying like, hey, you guys should buy my book. Also, like, don't die. Like, I just like I didn't want to be making noise. But then I'm really realizing because I was getting things from other authors, and I'm like, oh, I so appreciate books right now. I so
Mhm.
appreciate having stories that are keeping my mind engage somewhere else,
Yeah.
or helping me work through my anxiety. Like a lot of stories are a place where you can think about, wow, this person faced something that was terrifying, and here's how they got through it. And I thought, okay, good. I'm actually, by being a person who writes stories, I'm doing something that is helping my community. Like
Oh,
it's like helping
absolutely. I think
me.
I think that's key for right now. A lot of people clamoring for, something to distract themselves from the pandemic. So that's wonderful. So we're already nearly the max of our interview time, where we like to keep it. So why don't we close? Can you just tell us anything very brief, spoiler free, anything fun about what you're writing now or what might be coming next from you that we can look forward to?
Oh, yes, I am working on actually a sequel to Bicycle. So that for those of you who have read it, she is a girl who's living at a monastery, and she doesn't know where her family is. And she has this adventure in the next book. She's gonna find her family. She's not an orphan. She doesn't have dead parents.
Cool.
They've been looking for her, and she's finally gonna find them. So that's a lot of fun to go get lost back in that world.
I'm super excited about that because I loved that book. Both books are great, but Bicycle's story was really, really wonderful. So I'm excited about that. That's great. Well,
Thank you
and
so
so
much.
thank you so much for popping in and chatting with us today. And like I said, our patrons can look forward to Christina visiting again at some point in the future
I
when
know
everything
someday
when
it's all
everything
going to be
gets
different.
yeah gets back to normal, or our new normal, or whatever we're presenting to people. So thank you so much again. Happy Bike Month, and happy book launch. And we'll look forward to circulating Colossus of Rhodes as soon as possible. So thanks everyone for watching. And next month we are having another author visit. So so stay tuned for that. And now
Very
I'm
good.
going.
Thank you so much for having me, Joel. This was
Yeah,
terrific.
super fun.